And now, before anyone says, why in the heck do you call this a secret garden? When we first looked at the house, and I will put the link to the video down there, the little video I took when we were touring the property. This truly looked like a secret garden, but what essentially were weeds that had grown into trees, and when we cleaned it all out, it's now open, but I have continued to call it a secret garden, and that's what it always will be. And I think eventually I'm going to try to get it back to being a secret, but we'll see how that goes. But I want to start here real quick because I want to show you guys this. My daughter gifted me this a few years ago, and it says, "Welcome to Wendy's garden." And I love it. But I want to circle back around before we get to the rest of everything. And we'll start over here. And this bed, you guys, I haven't done anything to it. These shrubs were in here when we moved in. I have put some mondo grass down in there. There was some plugs, and I've been kind of spreading it around. Hopefully it will take over and just cover the bed up. But it's not spreading as fast as I thought it would, so I might get some more of it and have a little ladybug house right there. But I did have one of my first plantings, I do believe, were the At Last Proven Winners roses. I put them right here with some of that purple allium that gets the little purple balls on it. Thought that would be so pretty together. The problem is they haven't thrived here in 2 seasons, and I moved them, and I'll show you where they are now when we get over there. But see, they get lots of sun here in the spring, and they would do so well, and that's because the trees weren't leafed out. But once this tree leaves out, they struggled. They just did not bloom like they should have and did not grow like they should have. So I have moved them, and crossing my fingers, they will do well. So in this, truly, this is where I think is the beginning of it. When you're coming off of the driveway right here, right by that second pot I just showed you. So here, again, these shrubs were already here. I left them in place. They do well. They like it here. This is a daylily in here, and it should bloom. It was already here on property. And then I popped in some sunmouse hostas in here last year, and as you see, caterpillars got to it, and the rabbits. I just planted a whole salad bar for those guys and didn't realize it. And here, all of these were here. I'm not sure what these little shrubs are at all. I do not know. This is a Rose of Sharon, and it blooms white. It's really so pretty, and it sits there with my bunnies. I love bunnies, and I love trinkets. I love garden whimsy, so you'll see some of that going on, and I need more, but I can't wait to show you guys the new focal point of this garden. I'm so excited that I have that. So there's that bed, and we'll circle right here on the back side of this front bed. Oh, my shadow. Look at these hostas. And I do think this tree hasn't leafed out, but I do think they got too much sun here last year, so I'm gonna move those. That's on my list for next weekend. Always a list. And again, we had a bad thunderstorm roll through, so you're gonna see twigs and leaves everywhere. This was all cleaned out and looking nice. I haven't weeded in here in a week, so I'm gonna have to get back on that. Right here, these are established daylilies that were here. They're yellow. They're absolutely beautiful, but on my list for next weekend as well, I'm going to dig them up and divide them and probably put them along there. It gets about 5 to 6 hours of sun over there on the beds right here. They're not so much shaded, but pretty much the entire secret garden that I call the secret garden is in shade minus a few beds. So, and I have a new daylily that's going to go here, and I will hopefully try to film that for you guys. There's one of my alliums that tried to come back, but I thought I would put it right here, and it's pink, and it's a rebloomer, so I'm excited to get that. So we'll put that right there. And I'm trying not to film his car in the driveway, so I'm doing some weird maneuvers here. Okay, so this is what I call the gnome bed. Every bed has a name. I've tried to name them all. And this is filled with monkey grass, and I love it. I don't hate it. I love it. It was here when we got here. I've left it when we cleared out this bed. That was something I just said, let it stay, because it looks so good. So this is a unique stone gnome. I got him 3 or 4 years ago. I love him. I got him when we were in the rental house, and good purchase. And there's my little butterfly house. So this bed is going to be dedicated, is pretty much dedicated to the butterflies and the pollinators. These are 2 echinaceas that are coming back. One's white and one is purple, and they are both by Monrovia. And then over here, my new thing that I put in here. So we have this little bed back here. It always comes up with weeds. So I have put little pieces. I bought 2 big quarts of them and divided them up. It is creeping phlox, and I hope it likes it here. We've gotten tons of rain, so it's nice and green here. So if it will just fill in these rocks and beat the weeds at their own game, I will be so excited. So this is new. I didn't do anything here last year. This has been a burn pile since we moved in. As you see, my husband is burning right now, or trying to get rid of this brush pile. He's been trimming all the trees. But eventually I want to get something that comes along this back ring. And I was thinking a hedge of roses would be beautiful, but we'll see. But anyway, didn't do anything on this little area last year, and this year I did. So I put up this trellis because I got the new Proven Winners Rise Up Lilac Days roses, and they're climbers. And so I put them in these pots, and hopefully that'll climb up and be beautiful. It blooms purple, and there's 1 in each pot. And then I also got the Crema Rose by Proven Winners. It's not a climber, but it blooms white. And I thought, now don't follow my lead. I don't know if they should be in a pot together, but I want them in the pot together. We'll see how they do. But we'll have the climbing purple rose and then the white one. And you can see they already have buds on them. Gorgeous. This is going to be so pretty. So that's what's going on the back here, and just the repeat over here. And so what I did, because we have strong winds that come through here, and see, I put some of that phlox down there, but I originally had that bench pushed back that way. But because when I decided to put this up and pick up these roses, I was like, oh, I've got to, it's got to drive into the ground. So I got it in the ground, and then zip tied it to this bench. So we had that strong thunderstorm come through. This thing didn't go anywhere. Let me go this way, because I don't want to film that brush pile. But yeah, so there's that. It's just a cheap trellis from Amazon. It's the same one I have in front of the pool entry. But I just need the flowers to cover it up. Wasn't looking for anything fancy, but I think it turned out kind of nice. So back to the gnome bed. This is where I transplanted the Atlas roses, and here they are. And this bed gets full sun. This gnome bed gets full sun, except right there in that pocket does not get full sun, but the rest of the bed does. So they do pretty well, and or plants do pretty well that like full sun here. So there they are, and there's the allium I moved over here. So hopefully that'll bloom. And then my new transplants are orange milkweed, and it's not the invasive kind. So I put the orange milkweed in here. I thought that would be really pretty with the coral color of the Atlas roses and the purple allium. And then here's some of my other alliums. They're dying out now, but they came up and bloomed for me. I couldn't believe it. So I was excited. I wasn't expecting them to come back. And then over there on this side of the bed is the Cinderella milkweed, and that's got like purple blooms on it, and it gets like 4 feet tall and 3 feet wide. So I put it over there. And then all in here last year, I planted all kinds of bare root dahlias. One came up for me after our daughter's wedding, and it was the Emery Paul. It was bright pink. So I don't know, we've gotten a lot of soaking rain. I don't know if any of them are going to come up this year. I hope they didn't rot, because I did plant some new ones over here called Bitsy, but I don't see any movement here yet for those. But all over here in these pockets, I put Cafe au lait. I can't remember all the names of them, but if they come up, I will get them. I have a whole binder that has everything in it that I've planted, but anything that's died or went away, I don't have the tag for that anymore. But if they come up, I will definitely show you guys because that's exciting. Okay, and this bed is called the gumdrop tree bed or lollipop tree. I refer to it 2 different ways, but this little tree turned out so cute when we got it all trimmed up. And last year, my husband's idea was put caladiums all around this, and it worked out really well. And by the time her wedding got here, they were all bloomed, all up and beautiful. But again, I'm not doing the corms this year. I will do live plants, but that'll look good. So I'm going to do that back again under this tree. I have a Tough Stuff Aha hydrangea right here, and it has not woken up yet. But everything has been, I've put compost out again this year, so just working on getting the soil back to being good soil. These are daylilies I popped over here, and that's what when I divide those from the bird bath bed, that bird bath bed, I'm going to bring some more over here. So we're in evening, so the sun's trying to go down. My weeds. These are Fizzy Mizzy Sweet Spire, and they're coming back. I have 2 of those in this bed. And these are all Sunseeker echinaceas. And I just love the way their blooms look. Oh, and there were some of my daffodils that came up. And some of my tulips from 2021 came up in here too. So I have the rainbow, the white, and the green apple Sunseekers in here. So look, they are ready to start growing. That right there is a crawfish chimney. Yes, we have crawfish here, and they build their chimneys everywhere, and it wreaks havoc on my husband's lawnmower blades. There's another one if you see it there. But they build their little chimneys all out in the yard and in my beds. But I have some new plants coming. Hopefully I'm going to film that. I blame it on Jenny from Creekside. She did a video about azaleas, which I've never really been into, but there's some new ones out that are rebloomers. So anyway, hopefully to film that, because I've got some to mirror each side here, and hopefully they'll like it here. They're not going to be big plants. They'll just be babies this year, but you know, work in progress. And we'll circle back here to the frog bed. I haven't been in here yet to cut back my eggnog blend. Daffodil and tulip blend came up this year from 2021. I was stunned. This bed is a mess. I need to get in here and cut back all this foliage. I was still trying to wait on some of the tulips to get a little bit more brown, because they came back. I was happy about that, so I want them to come back again. We'll see. But in here, I put a bunch of sun mouse hostas as well. They're all dotted around here, and I planted a lot of hydrangeas in here. But like I said, the armadillo and skunk back in after her wedding, they tore up my flower beds. I'm talking tunnels, you guys. I come back here, we filled them in the best we could. They dug tunnels. So some of my plants are just MIA, and I think it's due to their havoc. But here's a sun mouse coming up there. So yeah, and then in here, I had a gardenia by Southern Living. I loved it, it's so pretty, but it's not supposed to lose its leaves, and it has no leaves. So I think that one's a goner. I think they got to those roots on that, so that makes me sad. But yeah, we'll just see what happens. You know, I had hydrangeas planted, all hydrangeas, sun mouse hydrangeas, and look, they're gone. So that's unfortunate and sad. So I don't know what I'm going to do in this bed yet, but I'll figure it out. This is the king frog bed because of this guy wearing his crown. And this is what I also called the lily bed, because I've put nothing but lilies in here. So calla lilies and Asiatic lilies. I picked this one up from the garden center because I couldn't resist. Yes, it was all in bloom. And yes, is it gonna not be blooming with the other ones? Probably so, but you know, that's how they get you. You see all those flowers in bloom, and you know, it works on me. The whole trick works on me. So I wanted to add this to my garden, so it'll be really pretty next year. But the calla lilies I have in here haven't shown up yet. We'll see if they come back. This might be the beginning of one right there. Not sure. Could be a weed. That's why I've been really reluctant to weed in here as well, because I'm not sure what some of my things are yet, because I plant a lot of things. But you can see all the lilies they've popped up and making an appearance. So I can't wait for these to start blooming. Oh, you can still see the shepherd hooks for my daughter's wedding. And I just put up that video, thankfully. Oh my gosh, I just did not take the time to edit it, and I finally did it. But we had our daughter's wedding out here on the property. The reception tent was out here, and the ceremony was over here. Anyway, I'll also link that video if you want to see it. It's not her whole wedding. She approved the clips I put in there. And so, but it just shows you how our property transformed into a beautiful place to have a wedding, and it was lovely, and had lights all in here, and it was just so pretty. And okay, so we'll go to this back bed. These were here. I finally figured out what these guys were. They're some type of mahonia, but they get blueberries on them. Apparently they're edible, and but they were bitter when we tried them. So anyway, the berries are kind of going out now, but they were really pretty with blueberries all over them the first part of April when we were out here cleaning up. So looks really good. Now my showstopper, my brand new thing, this Japanese maple. Oh, I love her, and she loves being here, and I've underplanted her. My daughter has named her Maple. I mean, okay, obvious, but we'll take it. So this is Maple. She's beautiful. She's now the focal point back here, and I love it. This is really a deep shade bed. Right now it's getting some major spring sun, but that will change as we creep into summer. But I underplanted it with some heuchera. I'm not sure what kind. They didn't have a name on them. They just said heuchera. I love that. I love that when the nursery pot just says the plant. And this is Delta Dawn heuchera. I've had that since the rental house before we bought this property. And I brought pieces of it with me, and I put it in there because all of my heucheras I've tried in the ground, they heave up. So I was watching Jenny with Creekside, and she said her tip was, if your heucheras heave up out of the ground, put them in pots. So that's what I've done this year. I had 2 spearmint ones that was planted right there, but I'm going to try the azaleas there instead. And I dug them up. I put them in these pots, and then I added these white impatiens. Again, we've had lots of rain, so you can see that pot's still good and wet. So everybody's really wet. These are 3 Fire Island hostas. Yes, there's 3. You can't tell because that one was eaten down to the nub. I think we've solved the problem, though. I put out blood meal as well to keep the rabbits away. Sprayed with neem oil, and I put DE around everything, but the rain has kind of washed away the DE. This was June. Look at June. My June hosta. Terrible. And these are the Autumn Frost hostas by Proven Winners. There's 3. But yeah, they've been eaten up. But why I say it worked is Woo La La was the last one to come up over here, and no damage. So I think we've cured the problem. I think that's called Woo La La. Yes. Yes, that's going to be nice. And that's Miss America. And she is struggling. And then I put 2, they're coming up, elephant ears back here. Right there and right there. So hopefully those will come up and provide more of a windshield for these guys. They really got battered with wind last year. So, and I've added some stepping stones to this bed. We had a path right there beside that chair that went to that fence and just stopped. So it went to nowhere. So this year I dug them all up, and I've added them to my beds, which helps me get in the beds without stepping in the dirt as well. And I put a lot of them over here. So it looks really good. This is my Jack Frost Brunnera. I had 2, but 1 died last year, so I just have this one. It's coming back. This is a cupcake hosta, and I'm not sure what kind of hosta this is. So yeah, I just pretty much, guys, have a whole salad bar for everybody. So now I figured out what's going in the bird cage this year, and it is white impatiens and some of that same ivy I put in the front porch planters. So I think this is going to do really well. Hopefully that'll grow out and spill over. I might bring some creeping Jenny over here too, but I didn't know what quite to put in that for the last 2 seasons, and now I think this is going to be the ticket because that looks so pretty. And I like to add white back here because, again, this is deep shade. So little pops of white. I love it. This is my new bench, and I love this. I love the design of it, plus I love the color. I just love the color. But guys, I got this for $100, and what's best about it is it folds up. You lift this up, you fold these in, and I can take it in for the winter and store it so it doesn't get, you know, just get really old and rotty sooner than I want it to from being outdoors. So after the season's over, we can take it in, you know, in the winter months and then bring it back out. So I love it. So here's my middle bed here. And again, I added the stepping stones. We put caladiums all in here last year, but this year I went for these annual plants called polka dot plants. And they get like 1 foot by 1 foot. So they only had 2 trays. I was able to get 24. I would have doubled that, you know, and did a double ring, but this is all they had. And me and my best friend picked them up and we put them in the ground, and I think they're gonna do well with the sheep here. And this year I have anchored in this fake grass rug, but I think the sheep look good on top of it. There was, because we bought this house in February 2021, we didn't know there were 3 trees inside here that were dead because nothing was leafed out yet, so we didn't know, so it was removed, and there's a big like hole there, so I put that rug there and the sheep on it. I think it looks good. This is my Atlantis hosta. He had some damage, but not as much. He came from Hostas on the Bluff in St. Louis. Here's some more stepping stones. And over here was the reason I was watching my garden video, because there's a Bridal Falls hosta, and I couldn't remember where the other one is. It's over here somewhere in this area, but nothing, no sign. So I think the armadillo and the skunk got rid of that. That's unfortunate. This is some lamb's ear, some lamium. It didn't really do very well last year. I had another one down there and it completely died out. So I kind of wanted to put some ground cover in here, but I don't know. Slow but sure. Here's my new pot. Look at this whimsy right here. That's a ZZ plant for the thriller in the back. This is called an escargot begonia. Look how whimsical that is. I love it. And this is the angel wing red begonia. This is proven winners. And look at her. Beautiful. Doing the best out of all of them so far. But it hasn't been warm here yet, so I think that ZZ plant's going to take off as soon as it does. Back there is the begonia I got on clearance last year. It blooms pink. It's a dragon wing as well. Got it on clearance at Lowe's. It had too much sun on it, and I overwintered it inside. It bloomed. It grew beautifully inside. It loved it right inside my French doors there. Brought it out here, and it was like, what's happening? So it's just now trying to regroup. It's got some new leaves on it now, and I popped a coleus in there with it, so I think that'll be pretty. So there's that, and here are the sheep. So I love that I was able to repurpose all those stepping stones, because I needed something to step on for these beds. And this is just that same bed. I've done nothing but the mondo grass and the shrubs that were here. This right here, even my caladiums didn't come up in here last year. But I was sitting back on those chairs right there the other day, and this is a good opportunity to do something, like some art or something. So I'm not sure, still thinking on that, but there is a possibility right there for some kind of garden feature. Right here are those same Mahonia plants with the blue berries on them. My best friend loves them, so I was thinking about taking them out, but I'm not going to. Gonna leave them. Some little grasses that were here, and I've been spreading it around the past 3 seasons, trying to just get it to fill in and around. So this is what I call the rock bed. I have no idea why this bed had rocks in it. None of the other beds did, but this one does. That's okay. So I have an orange daylily I transplanted over here from the property, because there was an orange daylily bed underneath where the garden shed is now. So I got some of them and moved them around. And there's one, and that blooms orange. And then this is Proven Winners Storm Shelter daylily. And very pretty. I have 3 of those. There's one back there, and then one right here. So I thought the purple with the orange would be pretty. And here is a bucket of weeds. And it also houses one of my Fairy Trail broad hydrangeas. My other Fairy Trail broad hydrangeas right here in this pot. I kind of brought them out so they could get a little bit of sun, and I found a tent caterpillar on them, so I'm not sure about them, but we'll see. but they get, you know, the morning sun over here. And so I did have them over there, but I brought them out here. We'll see how it works out. In this little bed are also orange daylilies, and that were here on the property. And then I put little lime punch hydrangeas in here. So I'm ready for these to appear. So they're on either side. And then here's a look back at, in quotes, secret garden. But it used to be for real. It really used to be. So that's what that looks like. Oh, before I get to this last bed in here, let me show you this. We had no grass here, and we overseeded this in the fall, and boy, did it pay off. This looks so good. This was nothing but dirt, and you know, the wedding was coming, so we got rid of that fire pit back there, that old fire pit. It just looks 100 times better. Okay, last bed in the secret garden is this one. This is a pilgrim hosta. Again, we don't have to talk about the damage. You can see it. This hosta, I don't know what kind it is, but it's been with me for years, and I just keep transplanting it. And these are Canadian blue hostas. And I have 2 Patriot hostas right here, and they're not up yet. But they did dig tunnels over here too, so we'll see if they come back. I was waiting with bated breath if anything would come back. But this pilgrim hosta is tough. It has withstood a lot of that damage. And isn't she pretty? Very pretty. Very, very pretty. So around here, I'll just step through here. I need some more stepping stones. Again, I fell in love with all the hydrangea blooms at the nursery and had to pick these up too. But this white one is, well, it was sickly. But I decided to take my chances and bring it home. We'll see. I had 3 mini mauvettes in here. No. Those suckers, I didn't completely dig them up in case they decide to come back, but I did pop the tops off of them. They got really sickly last year. So anyway, we'll see. But these are the white ones. I hope they grow up and like it here. If not, I'll just keep trying again. Now we're gonna mosey over here behind the gazebo. And this is where I have my David Austin roses. This is Lady of the Lake. Look at her. Beautiful. My dream is to have her climb up this. So we'll see. And this is Claire Austin. I'm giving her 1 more year over here. I think she gets a lot of sun, but I'm going to see if she can establish really well and beat this Texas sun. The Lady of the Lake gets more shade. Here's Miss Ellie. But she takes the brunt of the sun all day. So we'll see. I'm going to see how she does this summer. If she's still struggling by the end of the season, I'll move her either in the fall or the spring and put her somewhere else. I could even possibly just move her, you know, closer to in the middle here. So you see more crawfish chimneys. One right here. And then look, snake hole, because they eat crawfish. The water snakes eat the crawfish. So they weren't that smart, were they? Okay, so the pool's not open yet. The goal is to have it open by Memorial Day. We'll see. We shall see. All right, so now we're going to come over here to the patio. I have not decided what to do here. I don't think I'm going to do anything, but I do need to get after the weeds. Done been after them once, but with our winds, weed seeds blowing and getting in your beds is constant out here. So here is the patio. These are filled with pink and white petunias. They just came in a 4-pack. They're beautiful. My inspiration, because I just filled them with white, and last year everything was white because of my daughter's wedding, of course. I try to do a lot of white and soft colors. And this year I was like, I need a color. Well, I mean, look how pretty they are. I picked up these gorgeous geraniums by Monrovia, and they're Lycosmia. I'm not sure how to say that, but they're creeping Jenny. And put those together, and it's just beautiful. So I just pinched a lot of my flowers back yesterday. So these are gonna bloom out. Oh, it's so pretty. So when I had those and I just had the white in the pots, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going pink, and I found these, and they're glorious. They're glorious. So I kind of put them in all the pots. We'll see. There's some nasturtium, and I think this is muscari, but it's dying out, but it never bloomed. So I don't know. I don't know if it got enough sun or what happened there. So yeah, just pink and white all dotted in here on the patio. I love it. Put some pink down in there because I'm not sure if my purple petunias will come back on their own, the ones I seeded, but I did leave the tag. They came back last year for me, or they came in for me last year, so we'll see if they come back. And this is Sweet Alyssum, just a pot of Sweet Alyssum. I just love the smell of it. And this is a whole container of different sweet potato vines. This is just regular sweet potato vine I picked up at the nursery, just little containers of it. And then I got this two-toned one from Proven Winners. Beautiful. And the Sweetheart Lime. I think this is the Sweetheart Lime. Yeah, because it has makes little hearts. Yeah. So it's so pretty. So that way I can just take cuttings off of where I want for pots and root them in other pots. So this had nothing but sweet potato vine in it last year, and it was beautiful. So even if I don't move it to root in other pots, this will be gorgeous. But they might compete with each other. This is my raised bed planter. This is where I filled with my tomatoes and everything. I need to get a new basil. But I filled this with ranunculus, pink and white, and only the white bloomed. You can see it's just now, they're going out of bloom. But I was hoping to have just a big planter of pink and white ranunculus, and it did not work out. I put some nasturtium seeds in here too. This gets full sun. I don't know. It's not working out. I did put some runner bean seeds in here, and they're already coming up. And these are the runner beans that have the soft pink blooms. So I have those in there. I put a lavender, and I put a rosemary. So that's all I've got going on in here right now. And more runner beans over here. And then this little pot was just all my leftover alyssum and nasturtium seeds. And it's doing okay. And then over here, I also overwintered this fern inside, another Boston fern, doing great. Cut it back. And she likes that her hair's growing back. Looks good. I put some more of that creeping Jenny in here because I had some extra. And this is part shade over here, so it likes it. And then these containers, try not to be in the doors, you guys. They look so good. They're so pretty. Begonias, Sweet Alyssum, just going to see how that does back there. Some begonias. These guys were super bright pink. I mean, super bright pink. I have pictures of it. But all this rain, they've kind of faded out to this light pink. I don't hate that either. I think it's very pretty, but it's strange to see how their colors changed. And then some more of that. So, and then I mirrored that over here. So I have two. So, yeah, that looks good. But you see that bright pink right in there? All of them were like that. All the petals were that bright. But this one's doing a little bit better, the alyssum in here, than the other one. And some nasturtium seeds, they're popping up. I actually forgot when I started planting these that I put nasturtium seeds in there. But there's the doors. And that looks good. And then I planted me some succulents. Now these are babies. I think they're going to get big though. But very pretty. They look so lovely right now. My little rabbit, because he doesn't have a drain hole and he's cast iron. So I thought, let me get over here. So I thought succulents would be a good choice for there. And then lemon coral seed on back in this pot because it was a superstar last year. And such a superstar, I could not keep the weeds under control. In this bed right here, when you walked out to go to the pool. So this year we got some compost and some lemon coral sedum, so I hope that all fills in right there. That'll look good. And now this side bed here could get nothing to grow in this. This is where one of those ballet slippers hibiscus are. It's the same one that's on the front end of the house. So it's just a baby, but hopefully it does well. They seem happy so far, but I could get nothing to grow in here. This is a Proven Winners lavender in there. I can't remember the name of it. I'll try to remember when I'm editing, if I hear this part, to pop the name up on the screen. But I think it's called Sensational, and it gets really big. So I've got that back there. And then these are called Cherry Skullcap. They were just in little nursery containers, and they said they'll grow in the worst of conditions. So I was like, sold. I'll take them home. So they're doing well so far. So I thought with the purple lavender, when that blooms out, and with the cherry color on these would look good together. But I don't know. This is just a work in progress over here too. And you see all the rocks I continue to dig up because I keep working this bed. I put more compost in it, but we'll see. Fingers crossed we get something going in this bed. And then here's the pan back to the patio. This is one of my favorite places. Again, I've done no cleanup since the thunderstorms, but look at this view. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, this bed here has snapdragons. I just cut a bunch of them back, but I didn't do all of them so you could see the colors on those, but they're yellow. I thought these were gonna be more pinky, but I'm not hating it. I like it. I like the color. These are my canna lilies. Only one bloomed last year, but they're soft pink and yellow, and they're dwarf, but they've already spread. So I had none planted here last year, so I'm glad. So eventually, hopefully this will fill in with canna lilies and love it here in the hot Texas weather. More snapdragons here, and then an Allium Schuberti. It's going out too, but I couldn't believe that came back. I was so happy because those things are not cheap. So, and then back here is a clematis called Mississippi River. It blooms purple, but I got it because it said it can do a ground cover. And you know, Mississippi River is where my heart is, man. That water runs through my veins. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. So, yeah, so when I saw it, I was like, I have to have that. And that came from Brushwood Nursery. Another blame it on Jenny from Creekside. She showed off her clematis from Brushwood Nursery, and I got on there and I was like, oh, I have to have one. So I not only got that one, I have another one that will lead us to the end of this tour back to the pool area. So I also picked up this one. It's a white one from Brushwood, and look, it's already climbing up. And on this side is, I think it's called Sensation Honeysuckle from Proven Winners. And I don't know, I'm hoping this baby takes off this year. This is going to be its third year. I mean, something's got to happen here. So I had it in the pot the first year. Last year I popped it down here, and we'll see how it works out. So this is the entrance into the pool. Another one of those trellises. So we need to do a lot of cleanup in here, but I've already got my pots going in here, and I want to do something back there. Still, I got to clean up. That's an old fountain grass, purple fountain grass from last year. It did not do well. I got to pull that up. There is my hammock. We got to put that together and put the hammock on it. But these are beautiful. I do not remember the name of these, so I'll try to put the name up on the screen, but these are Proven Winners. Just beautiful. There's some purple fountain grass in the middle. I got one container and divided it into two, so it's starting to come back. And then in the back, they were called Bee's Knees yellow petunias. So I just added those with the Proven Winners, and I thought the yellow and the pink is going to be beautiful together. We got to wrap this up because my battery's done. And you're probably happy too. This is probably a long tour. And these are all grasses. Okay, this is strictest maiden grass, and this gets like 6 feet tall and 6 feet wide. This is its second year, but trying to use it to make privacy and or block the pool equipment back there. But we'll see. I might use it in the ground as it gets bigger, or get a bigger pot. This is called Chinese fountain grass that I sowed by seed myself last year, and it's coming back with a vengeance. It looks great. Everything's waking up. There's Miss Ellie seeing what Mommy's doing. Say, hurry up, Mommy. Oh, in here is purple fountain grass, doing well. Again, I bought two containers divided. It made 4 plants out of it. So this is starting to come back. It's got good green growth. And this is in here with the lantana. Again, just the nursery container said yellow and pink lantana. So we're going to roll with it. It looks good. It's got some good blooms on it. It's already filling out. So I thought that would be a good combination together. And then back here on this side of the pool fountain, the same Same thing mirrored over here, except this Chinese fountain grass is a little slow to wake up, but it is waking up. So that's good news. And then over here I have 2 pots of Vinca and Angelonia, and they should stand up quite well to the heat and the sun. So they get full sun, but I love that the things I have in pots, I can move them around if they don't do well. But the Angelonia was in full bloom. Again, posted that on my Instagram. It's kind of going back, and I need to come out here. I'm going to deadhead, and we'll get those going again. And then these up here, I'm not sure everything that's in them. Of course, petunias and some Calibrachoa, but the pots are soaking wet. I don't know. They took a beating in the storms. Look, they look very, very pitiful. So there's this one on this side. So I have the 2 of them right here. We'll see. And then this is this trusty fern that's been in this pot forever. Overwintered it inside. It always overwinters really well. Cut it back. As you can see, it's already like, hello, I'm here and here to stay. Oh, before I conclude, I want to touch on these tree stumps. This one here and that one there. These are dead trees, but they were filled with concrete. So the gentleman that removed the trees, they could not get these down because there's concrete poured all inside them. We don't know who did that. We do not know why. But my husband is slowly working on getting them burned down this year. Last year we let the suckers grow up around them, and so they look like bushes, so it didn't look bad for our daughter's wedding. But this year he's working on, you can see he's already been getting that one going pretty good. Getting the fire going, burn them down so he can sledgehammer the concrete out of them and get them out of here. But yeah, they were completely dead, and you know, I'm pretty sure the concrete is the culprit. So with that is the last thing I was going to add. Just wanted to add that in case someone was new. We'll just end over here where my pretty bench is. Well, that concludes my garden tour for May 1st. And if you've made it through this entire garden tour, hopefully it won't be another 7 months before I upload again. I'm going to try to be a little bit more consistent. So thank you so much for watching and adding color to my world.